Well, Vlisco is operating already for almost 170 years in Africa and has a very long history. We are a part of the culture in Africa, not only in the countries but also in regions and in the various tribes. I think all the lessons that we have learned all come together in one word, and that is partnership. Partnership not only with your commercial partners but also with governments. Partnership with governments to talk about opportunities and build a new future for the company and for the government or for the country I should say, is what it is all about. And that's the most important lesson.
I think that's a very positive message, and one of the most important things you said when it comes to partnership is that's win-win partnership, so that both parties can benefit. When it comes to the main message of this conference, that Africa works. Do you think that when it comes to Vlisco, Africa works for Vlisco or for Africa? What can you say about that?
Well, I think Africa is working. If you look at the GDP growth that Africa is generating, especially sub-Saharan Africa, we are looking at a growth of between 6 and 10% GDP. That is a very healthy sign of growth. In Africa, out of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, 7 come out of Africa. So I think that's another second key indicator that it is going in the right direction in Africa. I think what Vlisco is doing, we have almost doubled our business in the last 5 years. So it is a win-win also in that respect. Not only the countries are developing in the right direction, but also we as a group have been able to benefit from that.
So actually you say that because of the positive economic development, and Vlisco can also have a benefit on that, and at the same time you also, as Africa and Vlisco, have a benefit on the positive development.
I think everywhere there is positive development in Africa, and we are of course in the total a small player in the total scheme, but at the same time we are an important player because we are partnering up with quite a lot of players, governments and other stakeholders to make sure that we are doing the right thing for growth in the continent.
Yeah. One of the most impressive things I saw, it was the story of DRC. It's been described as a failed state, but you as Vlisco have managed to do business there, but also to give people of the DRC a hope, especially when it comes to the textile industry as you explained us. Can you tell us what is the secret for you as Vlisco to do business there and to keep going while the country has many difficulties?
A lot of countries have difficulties, but you have to look at the size of the countries. It's the same size, only in Nigeria, 170 million people live there. In the total of Western Europe, it's about 250 million. Now, if you travel from Amsterdam to Moscow, it's the same thing as you travel from the west to the eastern part of a certain country. And that means that you can't, just because there are trouble in one part of the country, that there is also an impossibility to do something in another part. Yeah. So I think that's the first thing you need to realize. And the second thing is there is not only in the DRC, I think we have employed quite a lot of additional people in almost all the countries where we operate. So everybody is taking his share. We are producing in Africa, which is of course very important, but now we are also reaching out to the farmers to also see what they can do directly for us.
That's a very good message. You also talked about the textile industry and the rising of Asian production, like India and China. How does Vlisco deal with this, and how do you manage to stay competitive and as an important key partner in Africa for your products?
Yeah. Well, quality is very important, new designs, innovation, and all of those things that are not unique to Africa are important to attract your consumer. But the first thing you need to do, also in Africa, you need to be extremely close to your consumer to understand exactly what he or she wants. If you do that in a proper way, then it will also imply that they will stay with you and you build a business.
Yeah. Before we close this interview, I also saw a very beautiful story when it came to women, the relationship between the products of Vlisco and African women. as it give them the opportunity to find their self and to follow their dreams. We have seen beautiful stories in Nigeria, Congo, and Ghana. What can be learned according to what you are doing with these women, giving them trailer trainings,
Yeah.
trainings, and what can other companies learn from this when it's come to partnerships with Europe and
Well,
Africa?
I think we need to institutionalize some of these initiatives. We can do it, and we, of course, are a small, relatively small company. We can make a difference, and we are making a difference in this area. But wouldn't it be great if if there is a more generic approach from European countries to say we are going to help the countries to revitalize the industries.
It is
Because
different
at the
from.
end of the day, it is important that the people in Africa are not unemployed, are employed, getting a good annual income, and are benefiting from the growth.
And the reason why I was wondering, do I have to see this differently from development aid, or is this a new way of rethinking how we have a partnership with Africa?
I think this is a slightly new way of doing it. I don't think there's an example with other companies so far. I have not seen it. So we really thought about it with our African colleagues, and we felt that this is something new, and we hope that it's going to be embraced by also governments who have the intention to work very close with industry and to see how we can get a win-win situation.
It's a really good message, institutionalizing the social aspect of the partnership. What's the last message for people who are watching us at home and the participants of this conference? Does Africa really work, and how do we have to look at the future?
I think you need to look at the future in a very positive way. There is a lot of growth coming in Africa. Growth will further increase, and if you're on the train now and operate in Africa in a correct way, then you will benefit from it longer term. But it is not a country where you can do a quick deal, or a continent where you can do a quick deal. It is taking time, and it's building relationships.
That's a long term.
It's a long term. Sometimes it goes very fast, but sometimes it can take a number of years.